Brian Brannon, and you're listening to Talkin Schmit.
It's cool, like tonight is the night.
Here we go again.
Just give it the old college try, right now.
Big Dog's in.
Schmitty.
96 times Schmitty.
Thanks, Schmitty.
We on? Schmitty?
Talkin Schmit.
That's called go to the hospital, bitch.
I'd be shitting my pants, man.
Your Rolodex is fucking deep.
It's about the one.
Who is this guy who thinks he's tough shit?
What's up? We're tastemakers.
Come on, Schmitty, what the fuck?
Let's hear it for Greg Smith. Yeah!
Growing up as I did, it's a huge honor for me to introduce our next guest. He was music editor and major contributor of Thrasher Magazine in the 90s and the lead screamer of the legendary skate rock band Jodie Foster's Army. Listen up closely, fuckers, because this is Brian Brannon. What's up, Brian?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, Schmitty?
I'm good, man. I just saw you at Mofo's, 60th birthday in, Oakland?
Yeah, in Oaktown, man. Yeah, that was hungover for 3 days after that, bro. Was it good?
It was, dude, I'll tell you this. The reviews came in and you still bring it hard, man. They're like, damn, he was running around the whole time, energized. It was sick, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what else you supposed to do, man? You know, you figure you got to bring it or stay home, you know, with COVID.
Yeah, that was... When was that? That was right before. That was probably like November, December or something, or no, earlier this year.
Yeah, that was the last set of shows we played. We played there, and then we played San Jose, and I think that was the last, you know, then everything hit, and that was it, man.
You were born and raised in Arizona?
No, I was actually, I was born in Linwood, California, grew up in Compton, North Long Beach, and then moved to Arizona around about when I was in sixth, seventh grade. And then stayed there till I went to work at Thrasher, probably about, I don't know, 10, 15 years later.
Yeah. Did you discover skateboarding in Arizona then, or before you moved out there?
Oh, no, man. I was skateboarding since I was a little kid. You know what I mean? My first board I got, they did have, I'm not that old, right? They had urethane wheels out, but when I went to the store, they still had Black Knights, which had clay wheels on it.
Right.
And I like the graphics, man. So I had to go with the Black Knights. So, you know, I just pushing down my driveway there, man. Just you know, going Mach speed, thinking I was Captain Kirk on the Starship Enterprise. That was my thing.
Did you guys do like catamaran when in those days, like where you put the two guys together, you know, interlock the legs and all that?
Oh yeah, we did some of that, man. That was later though, you know. I mean, I'm talking like 4 or 5 when I started, but yeah, no, that stuff's rad, man. You ever seen Team Rhino? Those guys were the kings of that stuff, man. They would just like catamaran catch you, Jared, like woo, and then like eat shit about half the time on the landing, you know, but it was always spectacular.
Yeah. Fuck.
You're like leaning back, you know, to turn, you know, or leaning forward to turn that way, you know. Yeah.
So then when you went out to Arizona, is that kind of when you started developing a little more of a crew and getting more serious about skating? Yeah,
definitely. You know, my first pool was in Arizona that I skated. I'm thinking my first backyard pool anyways. And then I started going to a high roller skate park in Phoenix, which had 2 pipes with this huge vert wall, two bowls, 2 snake runs with the best snake run ever, a clover bowl and a reservoir. And it was just like, it was badass. And that was kind of right when punk was really kind of popping off in the skateboarding world, you know, like Steve Olson was picking his nose at the friggin' skater of the year banquet. And, you know, Dwayne was friggin', actually Dwayne might've still been a hippie there. You know, his first friggin' ad, I remember, he was on Dogtown, right? And he was wearing like this space suit, had hippie shit. And he was like tied up against a friggin' huge air conditioner unit or something. He was rad, but there was a point when he was not quite, you know, the punk rocker guy. But then they were like cutting everybody's hair in the friggin' bathrooms at Big O or wherever and stuff. And, you know, you get free shitty haircuts if you're a hippie, you know. So the crew at High Roller was kind of the nucleus of the J.F.A. crew too, because like I say, that was where, you know, all the skaters went to High Roller because it was such a good park. And then when we started, our drummer was a High Roller local, Bam Bam, Mike Spearsvold. And then, you know, our guitar player, Don, and original bass player, Michael Cornelius, they were all skated there too. So we knew all the crew there. And, you know, our first show, Bam went and busted into his mom's linen closet and stole a sheet, you know, a bed sheet, and put it in the washing machine with some green food coloring and dyed it green. All right. And see, at that time, our first show, we were called the Breakers. We were not always J.F.A. Our first show, we were called the Breakers. And so, but we had the song Jodie Foster's Army. Our crew at that time was Jodie Foster's Army, but the band was the Breakers, right?
Right.
So Bam Bam, you know, tied the sheet Army green, and then he cut it all up into squares, and he made the logo with the, you know, block JF triangle and the X's. That was pure Bam. He came up with that, and he put it in black marker there so that you could fold it in half and tie it like a bandana around your steel toe engineer boots, because that's what you know. Back then, slam dancing was none of this stuff, you know, ring around the rosies crap you guys do today. You know, and there's some guys, assholes pushing. No, man, it was just friggin' like, you know, so you had to have the boots.
Yeah.
And then you tied a bunch of bandanas around them, you know. So our crew came out and they were all wearing the boots. And, you know, the punk rock scene thing was good in Phoenix. But they hadn't really seen, you know, slam dancing when we came out, you know. So they were like, some of the bands were like Killer Pussy. They had the song Teenage Enema Nurses in Bondage. The Feeders, this guy Frank Discussion used to bite the heads off rats and throw them at the Feeders. There's a guy called Charlie Monoxide. And there's like some art bands, you know. International Language was really cool. Anyway, so it was a really diverse punk scene, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, you have to wear this or be that or sound like that. But still, when we started playing and you know, the old punkers are ready to start poking harshly, you know, and then our friend just come up, you know, like knives were pulled, you know. We for the first, for the first year or so, we were banned for life from every club we played in Phoenix because they didn't know, you know,
right?
They didn't know what slam dancing was, and you know, they thought we were breaking shit, which maybe we probably did, you know. So.
And just for people that might not know, Jodie Foster's Army was a reference to Taxi Driver because, what was it, Hinckley shot Reagan, and then he was a big fan of Jodie Foster, and then, is that right?
Yeah, I think he kind of used it for an insanity defense, you know, like he saw the movie, and I could be wrong, but, you know, he saw the movie and he was inspired to do it for Jodie Foster. So Don, Redondo wrote most of our songs, still writes a lot of them, but now we kind of, you know, mess around. But he wrote, like, you know, almost all the early ones. And he was watching TV playing guitar when Hinckley shot Reagan. And he saw it, and they kept playing it over and over again, you know, and he came up with the little watching it, you know, and then him and his buddy are sitting on the couch and they're saying, well, Hinckley's claiming, you know, he did it for Jodie Foster or whatever. And his buddy goes, you know, Jodie Foster's got her own gun club. And Don's all, no, she's got her own army, dude. And so then he wrote the song, and then it just kind of all fell into place, you know. If we would have been the Breakers, we probably no one would have cared. You know what I mean?
Right.
But turned out there was a hippie surf band or whatever in California called the Breakers. You know, they were about breaking waves. We were about breaking friggin' windows and breaking into backyards to skate pools. That's what we took it. But
you had to change the name because there was already a name.
Yeah, we just didn't want to, you know, be affiliated with something else or confused. And
sure.
you know, having that name just got us a lot of attention because back then they were like, oh, there's this band called the Dead Kennedys, and there's another one called Jodie Foster, and there's Vic Morrow's Head, you know, all this stuff. So people say, oh shit, I gotta listen to that, you know.
Mm-hmm. And then how do you get your first show with Black Flag? Is that because you guys are heavy in the skating community already and you have the network, or how did that work out for you?
I mean, that's just how the scene was back then. I mean,
on paper that seems huge to have your first show open for Black Flag.
Yeah, well, so our first show we opened for the Crowd, which was as the Breakers, and they, you know, that was pretty big too. But no, I mean, Black Flag came through town, and the punk scene wasn't that big, you know, back then. I mean, like I say, we had all kinds of different. We had there was a band called Grant and the Geezers that opened up, and they were rockabilly, so it was really cool, like mix of stuff. You know, everybody was totally into it, and you know, digging. Hey, that's cool. I like that rockabilly or whatever, you know, but. We were the only hardcore band in town at that time.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but it fit really good. Yeah, and Dez was singing back then. So
that was with Dez.
Yeah, Dez, man. Yeah.
Never saw that one. Fuck.
Yeah,
that's sick.
He's singing with Flag now. He still does a pretty good job, man. He's always been my favorite.
Classic.
Him and Ron Reyes and Keith Morris were, I think, you know, although the early singers of Black Flag was what it was about for me.
And who is the drummer? Bill Stevenson or whatever? Was it? Yeah,
he's in Flag.
Okay.
Guy from the Descendants, but Robo was the original drummer for Black Flag. And he had a really way better posture than me, and he had his snare drum flat, and he was bald head. He's a rad guy, man.
All right. So how was that around the same time that you kind of started figuring out pool skating and looking for pipes and that kind of stuff? Or
no, we were all about that stuff. I had met Michael Cornelius at a ramp that we had built, and so you know, the High Roller closed, and so you know, we had about a month or so of sneaking over the fence, you know, to ride that, but then there was nothing left, you know. And Arizona, it's a sunbird state, you know, they call it, where the rich people from back east have a second home, you know, in the winter to come there, and then they all build pools because it's so hot. So I mean, there was never a problem finding pools in Arizona. I can skip ahead and tell you about the bonanza we had when they put the freeways through, man, because they didn't have freeways in Phoenix forever. Like the I-10 stopped, you know, at Avondale, which is probably about 20 miles from downtown Phoenix, and started again like outside of what's now Ahwatukee, which is another 20 miles out. And finally they decided they're going to put like 4 new freeways and connect them all, and they were just demolishing neighborhoods of houses, you know, to build the freeway. Just like, all right, freeway's coming in here, you're out, you know, like, and it was just like pool, and it was like, you know, that's why I got kind of spoiled back then, because I'm like, nah, maybe later, no, hell yeah, that's where we're going. That, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's my, you know, like Sal, but he's all like, oh, let's go skate 20 pools today. I'm all, dude, we should have just gone to that last one, because the rest of them freaking suck, man.
Yeah.
Go on the wall ride, I go down to the 7-Eleven, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, I just got kind of, you know, we had so many good pools, bro. It was just insane. Like that.
What's the method for that? Like, talk about finding that stuff before Google Maps and stuff. Like, are you just peeking over tons of fences and looking in backyards? Or are you like, I know Salba used to do the fucking aerial. He'd rent some guy to fly him sometimes. And what was your guys? How'd you guys come
we did all that stuff, man. You know, looking over fences, get in the back of a pickup truck and drive down an alley, you know, and you're just looking both ways, you know. Neighbors, look for abandoned pools. You know, some people had pool cleaning services. You know, Randy Caton in Sacto, he used to dress up in a suit and put a realtor sign on the side of his car, and then he would just pull up to an abandoned house, get his camera out like he's taking pictures, go in the backyard, totally scope out, like, okay, here's the entry, here's what the neighbors are like, and he would get it all written down. And then he would take a picture of the pool, and he'd go into his house, and he'd put it on the map with like a string from how far it is from his,
right.
Total science, you know what I mean?
Sick.
But what other thing we were doing toward the end, like right before I got the call to go work at Thrasher, we had figured out to look for HUD homes, housing and urban development. So these are homes that are foreclosed or whatever.
Yep.
And the rule on those is that you got to empty the pool because little Timmy might go in there and drown, in 3 feet of water.
Right.
So we knew every single HUD home that had a pool, it was empty. So then, and every week, the weekly, newspaper, the New Times Weekly, they would print the freaking addresses of all the houses. So we would just like, well, we can't hit all of them. Let's look at the ones in the neighborhood or, the ones in the richer areas. And we just were rolling, bro. I mean, it was great. And in pipes too. I mean,
so many out there.
Yeah, we had some great pipes, and that was because they're, they got to bring water into the desert to water all the golf courses and all the lakes, which my one of my professors called it evaporation ponds. You know what I mean? But they had to bring all this water in from the Colorado River, and wherever it went under the canal went under a freeway or a riverbed, it had to go down, and they had to put a pipe. So we could kind of just, look at all that, and, obviously dams and stuff would have them. But, we had so much stuff to choose from. We only had the best. Like, let's go to the good one, like why are we going to go to the crappy one? That's like, rough cement or whatever. So, the best one ever that I skated was, this one was in Thrasher. It was at Florence, just outside of the state pen. Which was a little freaky, going busting into friggin' federal thing.
Yeah.
And the pins right there. But it had, had this big old long ditch coming down it, right? And then the ditch went into like a square, right? And then the square started with like this much transition, and it just went woo, so woo, until I think about an 18-foot pipe. So it went from square to a pipe. So, if you're for your wall ride guys, it was all, you could hit it, whatever. But then it went downhill. So it was because it had to go
as much speed as you need.
Yeah, because you'd had to go under the river. But man, I remember just, if you went back and forth, it wasn't so bad. But if you started carving it, it was just like, and I remember the first time I said, shoot, I'm just going to, and I'm like screaming down the line, and I go up, and as you're going up, right? Like if you're going up here, as you keep going, I don't know if you can see, man, it gets oververt, right? If you just kind of do a long drawn out front side, you may start at 9 o'clock, but 3 or 4 feet later, you know what I mean? And I was just like zooming. I don't even know how high it was, but it was oververt. I'm all, holy crap. And, my thing was always,
damn, that's fun.
If I'm in some kind of grind and I don't feel comfortable, it's like a real deep pool, I grab the nose. It's kind of like like my security blanket, you know what I mean? So I grabbed the nose, and then that threw me into like a tail slide maneuver. So I slid down on my tail from oververt, down to vert, with just like holding on by my fingertips and let go, and made it. I'm like, holy crap. But yeah, we skated that with, Tony Alva came out, Salba, Malba, Rob Roscop, Keith Meek, all these guys. And it wasn't just insane. But I'll tell you, of all those guys, who do you think got the highest in the pipe?
Salba?
See, you would say that, but nope. Malba, bro.
Oh,
he was just like friggin' like on fire, man.
Malba,
like, I mean, Salba's, I'm not saying nothing against Salba. He has power. He's freaking rad shooting pipes. But Malba was just like, I don't even know, man. It was just like so high up there. You know what I mean?
Sick.
Yeah.
Is that pipe still there? No.
It's there, but it's like filled with water.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I never skated one on a hill like that. That sounds fucking.
Oh,
like
yeah.
You're
yeah.
just cruising and you're.
Yeah, it's kind of like a U, you know what I mean? But it was so long that we didn't, and the middle part ended up having all kinds of big rocks and stuff in it. But
Right.
Well, the other good one was when they built pipes in Phoenix, in downtown Phoenix, and I was driving by and I saw all these sections, not like you think of a pipe section as like one whole pipe. Well, these were sections to make one whole pipe. So like about maybe 5 or 6 of them to make a whole pipe, like right? I'm like, holy shit, that looks like it could be pretty big, man. And so, I tell my buddies around, we start keeping an eye on it. And they dug, this was in Thrasher too, I think it was called Smoking the Pipe. And they dug, like, we called it a pickle barrel, like a big, like probably, I don't know, 30-foot, 40-foot diameter hole in the ground with wood all around it so it wouldn't cave in, right? And you went down about 8 stories of steps. And then there was this big ass pipe, and that one was probably, I don't know, I think there were 2. I think there was one that was 18 and one that was 12. And that was in, I think, Wheels of Fire and stuff. And what they ended up doing was they had the 18-footer and then they had 2 12s that came together. And they were going to hook them all up. And we had great sessions there. I mean, because it was downtown, it's like, it's just like underneath 7th Street. You know what I mean?
And people weren't, it was no bust or nothing? Like, people didn't even expect you to be doing that kind of stuff back then, right?
I mean, yeah, well, here's the thing. I mean, like something like that, and this is what used to piss me off about guys who would come to a pool and friggin' street skate in front of the house, you know what I mean? People are only going to know if they see you going in,
Right.
or if you're like standing out there fucking around, getting your board out of your car and like, putting on grip tape or whatever, drinking beer. Like, friggin' get in and get out. You know what I mean? Like, once you went down those stairs into the hole in the ground, hell, nobody knew you were there.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And we had some friggin' rad ass sessions. And then, eventually they finished it. And these were to drain the freeways, like miles and miles of freeways. All the stuff would come down, all the water, and then it would dump into the pipe, and the pipe would dump into the riverbed, right? So me and my buddy Chad Stewart and Michael Cornelius, I figured, well, hey, I know where it's got to dump out because it was at 7th Street. And so draw a straight line, 7th Street and the Salt River, right? And it's got to be there. And so, okay, I'll tell you what. And they're all, but it's wet. We know it's wet because it's wet. Okay, let's get a boat. So we friggin' got like a little, like, I don't know, a canoe, maybe about 10-foot canoe. Or actually, I think it was just the bottom part of a little sailboat, a little Hobie or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we go over there, and to get there, we found where it was. We had to walk past a homeless camp carrying a boat in the middle of the desert in summer. And the guys are all, hey, where are you going? We're going fishing.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is that, like, the adventure is half of it, right? Like going to Glory Hole, getting the raft around the bend and just cleaning it out with the kitty litter or whatever you have to do to prep it. Like, that whole thing is the experience. It's not just about skating a pipe or like whatever. It's like finding it, figuring out how to get there, figuring out how to make the most of it, and not getting busted. Those are all the keys.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, that I agree 100%. But I mean, that's also, what life is, right? Like, you could be like, oh, crap, this draining, it sucks or whatever, like, the key litter. But I mean, you got to just make the most out of everything, Yeah. I mean, like enjoy that. I mean, you're with your bros. We skated some pools that were like on, $1 million houses on top of the mountain, killer view. I remember they had a picture of Richard Nixon and the guy who owned the house, like just floating around, and we're just sitting in the back of the shallow end drinking beers and friggin' skating, man. But no, so anyway, so we take this boat down there, right? And I think we had 1 or 2 paddles, and we find the pipe, and this 18-foot, I feel like maybe it was a 20-foot pipe. We see where it is, and it's got this much. It's got like, how much is that? Like about 3 feet from the top of the pipe to the water level, right? And we're all, well, it's gotta be dry. If we paddle far enough in, it'll be dry, right? So we get in this boat and we just start paddling, man. And it's pitch black, and it starts getting kind of scary, It took us like two hours of paddling underneath downtown Phoenix, you know what I mean? Which is, like, again, about 60 feet at least above us. And so we're paddling. Then you start having like freakouts, like, well, what if they pump a bunch of water down here, open the floodgates? Yeah. What if there's crocodiles?
Yeah.
Nuclear zombies,
Probably
and you're like,
rats for sure.
Yeah, you're thinking of all this crap. Oh, fuck it, we're here, man. So we keep paddling, and it starts to go down, right? So it's like we're getting down. We're okay, 3/4 of the way, halfway, third, quarter, and we're getting pretty low. We're almost to the point where we can't paddle. And I go, what if the water's running? That would suck. And of course, as soon as you think that, you jinx it.
Yeah.
Right. So we get to where it's just like a trickle. It's like about, a couple, 3 inches, and it's fucking running, right? And we're all shit. So we'll keep on going. So we keep on going, and we're skating now because you can skate, there's enough to skate, but we keep, of course, getting our board wet, going down there. And we found some rocks, made a dam, lasted about 20 seconds, you know what I mean? And like, fuck. But we went, remember I told you there was like the 18, 20 foot pipe and then the 2 12-foot pipes coming in. We found it, man. And it was like this cathedral of just gnar, just like water dripping, like echoes and shit. And yeah. So, but we didn't get anything there, and we come back and we've fallen in the water a few times. We come back, it's friggin' freezing, take the boat a mile to the car.
Man,
but
is that 80s?
Yeah, that was 80s. Yeah, all this stuff was 80s because I went to work for Thrasher. It might have been 90s, but I went to work for Thrasher in September 1990. So,
okay,
all my Arizona stories are pre that, pretty much.
So how did you get into it? What was the first pipe you went to, and how did that all start? Was there older people that were hip to it that clued you into it, or?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was kind of back in the old days, if to get into the crew, right, you had to have a pool. Like, no one's going to tell you their pool unless you got a pool. Until, like, you can't, like, hey, you're going to the pool? Like, get the fuck out of here, kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, am I like, well, I got this one by my house. All right, let's go look at it. You know what I mean? And they look at it and they're like, all right, you're cool.
Okay.
I'll take you to one pool. You know what I mean? And then you kind of get in and you show them you can skate or whatever and friggin', help out, training or whatever. And that's kind of how it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And true or false, you grind the first wall of every pool you skate?
That's that's the Arizona pool rule, man. I wrote it. I think I'm the only guy that does it. It has to be a good pool, though. That's the caveat. It can't be one of these shitty Salvaland pools that he just takes you. So, I took you to 12 pools when I came out. You only took me to 3. I'm all, yeah, but dude, I put my 3 up against any of yours any day, motherfucker.
Man. And then did you kind of use the band as a vehicle to travel and skate, like, outside of your area and stuff? Like, did you guys start touring, or did that come later?
No, yeah, we started touring pretty much right off the bat. Our 22 caliber tour, we went down to Tucson, and I think maybe I don't know if that was California too, but we played the Cuckoo's Nest, which was where the HB strut slam dancing was invented. We played with, and I was like 14. And that was too, I was getting into all these bars, you know what I mean? Because, hey, I'm in the band. You want me to play or not? But, I said, you know what? This is where friggin' slam dancing was invented in Huntington Beach, Costa Mesa area. And I'm going to go out there and slam. And the crowd are rad, but they're kind of a beach punk band. So they're a little happy, like not like Black Flag, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I go out in the friggin' pit. And as soon as I get out there, I'm like, boom, I got punched in the face like 30 times. As soon as I step into the friggin' pit, man. And the rest of the time I'm like, you know what I mean? I mean, that's how that was for a mellow band. You know what I mean? I mean, that shit was no joke. But
yeah.
Yeah, we toured a lot. We had a big old full-size school bus, big green bus, painted green. And if you saw the big green bus, you knew J.F.A. was coming to your town to skate your shit. So, the friggin' locals would see the bus and, hey, we got a ditch over here. We got some pools over here. Like, yeah, let's go, man. And they'd be all, the club would be all, well, you got to do sound check at 3. Oh, no, we don't do sound checks. It's like skate a ditch or friggin' do a sound check,
Yeah,
no.
make the most of the time you have in that town.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we did, man. Yeah, we all over. Like I could start naming stuff off, but I'd miss like 3/4 of most of it. But like the clown ramp, Pflugerville ditch with the big boys, which was great. East Coast ramps, you name it, man. Pools, ditches, little friggin' banks. That was what we did.
Is speaking of the big boys, is it clear who the first quote unquote skate rock band was?
That has been a bone of contention for some people, but I'll give it to the big boys because they were a band before us and they all skated. But at the same time, there were other bands going way back that skated too, right? But they were like the first punk band, the first known punk band that's all skated. The difference was we were like, yeah, we skate, fuck you. Like that was our whole thing. Like our whole thing was about skating. So, like we had songs about skating and all this. So if I'm going to give it to anybody else, I'm going to give it to the big boys, 9 days out of the week, but, yeah, I don't really care about that. You know what I mean? But I mean,
Sure.
we would probably be number 2, and you could say we were the first ones with skating on the cover, but you look back at 60s bands and there was, dudes, on the Jacks team or whatever, doing that. But, if you're talking about like punk rock skating, like we skate, fuck you, take us to your pools. That was us.
Right.
That's where we came from.
I mean, when I was young, having skateboarding on the cover of an album was just instant purchase. Like it was like, what? You saw that and you're like, kids don't understand that skating wasn't so popular. And so to see it like on vinyl and shit was just like mind blowing. It was like, oh, whatever they're doing, I'm a part of that too, or whatever, And,
Yeah, because I mean, back then, being a punk rocker was an ass-kicking offense, Dude, like the shit kickers, the cowboys in Arizona, the jocks, the hippie meddlers, cops, grandmas, you name it. They'd be an angry mob coming down the street if they saw you skateboard, much less being a punker.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, we were a definite minority, and people talk to me sometimes. They're all, well, did you like it back in the old days or did you like it then? And what I say is, I mean, back in the old days, there was no hardcore or core. If you were a punk rocker skating pools, you were hardcore because you were going to get your ass kicked or whatever, on a daily basis, or chased or spit at, or guy in a Camaro drives by, throws a bottle at your head, So, when you saw, like you're saying, when you saw a record, and it wasn't cool to put skating on the cover, that was like, oh, look at this, they still skateboard. They're like 15. Didn't they be all grown up and golfing or something? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? But, so that's how it was back then. If you saw someone, punker, whatever kind of punker, goth or, just whatever, you're like, hey, what's going on, man? Are there any shows around, or what are you doing? Any parties?
Right.
But, now it's so blown out, right? There's everybody's, has a punk rock band they like, and there's grandmas that have tattoos now, you know what I mean? Now, and, it's everywhere, and it's not as pure. Let's just say that, right? There's a lot of commercialized stuff, but at the same time, we don't have to jump fences anymore and run from cops unless we want to skate pools. There's killer ass parks everywhere. Less chance you're going to get a beat down for skating something. And the guys, the pros and girls, women that are riding are getting paid, money commensurate with putting their lives on the line, more than a lot of professional athletes do anyway. So, No, I mean, for me, it's perfect timing. You know what I mean? Like now I'm older. I don't really want to freaking run from cops no more. I got a job. That doesn't look good on a resume. You know what I mean? So
we were talking about that. Like, it ain't cool to be in the backyard of somebody else's house. And you're like, I'm 50. I don't know what I'm doing back here.
Dude, I was with Salva skating a pool in, I don't know, somewhere Salva land, Fontucky, I think. And it was a semi-small apartment complex. Square pool, good corners, graffiti everywhere, dirty ass, obviously, the hobos and shit were living there, whatever. And we're skating, having a pretty good time. And then the friggin' owner shows up. He's all, I called the cops. You're going to be arrested. You just wait. You got to stay right here. I'm locking you in. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, and then the cops show up, right? And, the cops go, okay, guys, let me see your ID. Okay, all right, Brannon, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Steve Alba. Steve Alba? Did you used to skate Upland?
I still do, bro.
I used to skate there too with you, man. The pipeline. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then the cop turns to the apartment complex owner. He goes, if you look in here, these guys cleaned out this pool. They got all the water out, all the shit and piss. There's no mosquitoes breeding in here. And they're keeping the druggies away. You should be thanking them.
Yeah.
I'm going to let them go with the warning. We're just like, fuck, I wish we had the video rolling right then, man. That was beautiful. You know what I mean? But that's out there, I mean, that's kind of in the same vein as what you were saying earlier about like grandmas have tattoos now. Cops used to skate now, you know? So there, sometimes you do have like a lenient guy that's like, oh, I know fucking Malba. I went to school with whoever. And you're like, yeah. Talk about the Thrasher covers. The first one was at the Love Bowl, right? Yeah.
And how did that all come about? Was that like you were skating there and Bryce happened to be there, or did they call you and say, hey, we want to go shoot photos for the mag? Or
yeah, I think they came out because I think they knew about it. They heard rumblings about it. And, we always had all kinds of other stuff going on out there. I think I was writing for the mag back then too, and they would send me to contests, and I wouldn't even go to the contest and write about a freaking, go skate a pool or something, write about that, and then put the results at the end or whatever. You know what I mean? And they're like, all right, I guess so, whatever. But so no, they came out, and the Love Bowls. There was two of them, and they're these giant. They're like for photos, you know what I mean? Like
it was a backdrop for a car commercial, right?
Yeah, exactly. They were backdrops. So and they had the transition so there wouldn't be a shadow, right? And like the one that we were skating had some clouds on it. It was like a blue sky with clouds painted on it and stuff. And they could turn it, in different directions to catch the sunlight the way they wanted it. And we were out there pressing the button, But no, that was just. Bryce came out and we were just all skating, and I think I was getting the highest that day, was the thing. So that's what they used. And then I wrote a story about it I wrote a story called Tall Tales, it's like, and they actually started my story. I had the cover, and then they started the first, paragraph of my story on the cover, which was like, holy shit. And it's like, hey, you little whippersnappers, let me tell you a story back when skate rock was a wheel, and some other crap, and I'm just like, it's like Tall Tales, right? With most of which were true actually for us Arizona guys.
That wasn't the first time you were in the mag though, on the cover, was it?
Oh yeah, that was the first, the Love on the cover.
No, but you had been in the mag previously to that, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We had
some people, a couple people. I think Chuck Treese, his first photo ever was the cover. I was like, damn.
Oh, really? Yeah, I think my first photo was, so we went and played Frisco one time, drove the bus up there at the Tool and Dive. They had a Thrasher Out of Skate Rock event 2 nights. And, the Scoundrels played, Tony Alva's band, the Big Boys, Los Olvidados. I don't know if the Drunk Engines did. For some reason, I don't think they did. At the Faction, And so they did an article. Mofo jumped in the bus with us at some point, so he was with us and got pictures of that. But we went to Ermico, where they make indies, and he wanted to shoot an ad. And so he gave me a board. He gave me a Madrid ramp stick, I think it was, a Rampage.
Yep.
And I did a friggin' my big thing back to my jump ramp trick was all lay back ollie off a jump ramp, so you ollie and put your hand down. And so he like sat underneath me and shot me going over him. And I think that was my first, official photo. I don't know. Actually, I think I got to put a plug in right here. I think my first photo was at this pool called Dead Cat, which was this huge, it was the biggest Roman end you ever saw in your life. It had 6 love seats, if that tells you how big it is.
Fuck.
The coping was like this big, just thick, and that was there forever. That pool was so big, they put a friggin' Cadillac Eldorado in it one time to keep the skaters from skating. And it barely took up, you could skate around it.
Oh, damn.
But it's just huge ass. Yeah, huge ass Roman in. And it was there forever. But the reason I say we got to put a plug in is because my buddies at AZPX skateboards, they're like the Arizona Punks, they did a video recently called High Rollers, which is about high roller skate park, and it's got all this friggin' Dead Cat stuff in it, man.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Steve Shelton is pretty much the star of that one, just like he was back in the day. We called him Biff Burley, because he would just destroy any friggin' pool like nobody's business,
Wow.
But, yeah, there's some good crews back there. That pool lasted about, 10, 12 years until the point when the neighbors were all sick of it, you know what I mean? They finally, with 10, 12 years, pretty good run for a backyard pool. But the neighbors would call the cops anytime they saw a car that they didn't know, because, like a closed street or whatever. So we started going there before friggin' sun up when the neighbors were sleeping, and station a guy at the corner with a walkie-talkie. So when the cops came, you know what I mean? But, there were dudes riding that thing with, like 1-inch wide, 2-inch wide trucks. Donnie Ho was a big ripper back then. Yeah. So.
Yeah, like at a young age, or when did you kind of like start noticing magazines and like, oh, that guy's rad and stuff? Like, who were your earliest influences that you saw in the mag and you're like, that's the dude?
Oh, shoot, man. Chris Stropo, Wally Inouye, Castor Bros, Brad Bowman, Bert Lamar, Salba, Dwayne, who came a little later. But, that was when skateboarder, that was the mag,
right.
for a long time. And, the centerfolds were so good, everyone, I'd have all the friggin' centerfolds up there, like Kyle Jensen. Like, he had a killer photo. That was the only time I ever heard of him, but he had a killer backside air at Oasis, I think, in San Diego with the sunset. Steve Olson, Pineapple, Doug Saladino, who actually me, Pineapple, Steve Olson, and Salba were in a band together called the 169ers. And we only played one show. We played out in skate park of Houston, like an after party for their like big event they have. Mm-hmm. And I was giving Pineapple shit because he was like all cholo back then. He had an interview and he said, they do the Poe quote, "Punk is bunk." I'm all, yeah, dude, punk is bunk. Is that what it is? Bunk. But yeah, that was some fun. That was a fun show. My favorite thing about playing with those guys was just looking over at Olsen playing bass and just seeing the smile on his face, man. Just so stoked to fucking be doing it, man.
Oh, Olsen's
that was a good.
best.
Yeah, we need to try and get that together sometime again. But
that'd be amazing. Yeah, back then, like with less tricks, people emphasized much more. I mean, today's style's still super important, but back then with fewer tricks, style was like a deal breaker. If you did something shitty, you were kind of cut. So you had to like do it right, you know?
Oh,
and
yeah.
those were the guys that were Olsen forever with the style, and
Oh, yeah.
Jay and those guys. It just had
Oh,
those
yeah.
like
all the Dogtown guys. I didn't mean to leave them out, but every single Dogtown guy for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, you would look at photos for everything. You would look at like finger, like what is the guy's hand doing, you know? And you'd be like if you look at some of Salva stuff, he's got the one, you know, like 5 foot frontside air out of the 15-foot bowl at Upton. He's got the friggin', you know.
Yeah. When the guy gets his classic style move, that means he's really busting because he's not thinking about what he's doing and he just does the normal.
Yeah. And that's I never really thought about the hands. Like when I'm doing the frontside air, a lot of times you'll be like, I'll look like I'm flipping people, like I'm flipping the bird, but that's just normal. That's what my hand does normally, right? And the one thing I did learn recently from talking with Dave Radigi is, you know, don't hold your breath, right? Because when you go up the wall, like take a deep breath, you know, on the flat, so that when you're going up, you got nice air and you're just going, right? You're just like relaxing through it, right? Because I look at pictures of me and I'm all, you know, I'm just like holding my breath, you know, like oxygen starvation, you know what I mean? I mean, I make sure it's a friggin' tuck knee and all that shit, but that's as far as I got. Like I was never a pro where I worried about like, you know, sticker placement or fucking finger, whatever. But, you know, you think about it and it does make sense and it kind of gives you that, you know.
Yeah. So, and with Instagram now you can zoom in on the facial.
Yeah, I noticed like in a lot of my Instagram stuff, I have my arm up, you know what I mean? And that's not on purpose. That's just what I do. Because if I'm going to fall, you know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm going to fall. I'm going to roll, you know what I mean?
That's like when we were watching, like Tommy Guerrero used to do Smith grinds and his both arms would be like perfect back. And we would like motion our arms. This is how we have to do it. This is how we have to do it. You know, you would see Aaron Murray or whoever and you'd be like, dude, that's the style, like his arm, his hand. Jake used to always talk about Cardiel's hand or Mike Carroll's hand, like it would be like flip.
Cardiel had his own kind of hand thing going on.
Yeah.
It's rad, man.
It's so sick. Like the silhouette, you could tell who it is. You're like, oh, yeah. But, no, I was going to say that other cover that you got, like the first one was at the Love Bowl, and it's kind of like a more artsy shot because it's an overview of the whole spot and you're a little smaller. But the second cover, it's like fisheye. You're right in there in the pipe. And I think KT shot it and you got the sunset in the background. That one's just so epic. Like, how does it feel when you see yourself on the cover for the first time back then? Like, it's a pretty big deal, right?
Oh, dude, yeah, that was huge, you know, and I knew that KT was going to get something because we sat there and I did it like 20 times, you know what I mean? That what I was doing there, it was I would go up fakie and kind of slide, like put my layback hand and slide, but then grind on the side of the pipe over vert. So that was kind of my thing. And but I kept doing it because I wanted to get a good one, like a good grind, you know, not just, you know, partially. So when I saw it, I was super stoked, but I was pissed. If you look at the cover and you see it, they turned it this way. They tilted the cover.
The opposite, so it looks like you're lower.
It looks like I'm lower. I'm like, and Ken McGuire, when I went to work for Thrasher, I'm all, bro, you were the art director. What the hell were you doing right there? He's all, oh man, it's an art thing, bro. You wouldn't understand. I'm all, no, I don't understand. You're gonna friggin' tilt it this way.
The other way. Yeah. I know. Sturt used to shoot photos like that on purpose to make the guy look gnarlier. Fuck.
But I mean, because you can always look at the horizon too, you know, because there were some mountains in there, but you can still see it's kind of like this, you know what I mean? So but I'll take it. The guy who was in charge of Speed Wheels back in the day, he was super stoked because I was riding Bullet 66s and it was perfectly in focus, the wheels, you know. So
okay, yeah, right on the cover.
So Speed Wheels for life, bro. Indy Speed Wheels.
Okay. I was gonna say, getting back to the band stuff. We talked a little bit about Big Boys, but There was obviously other skate rock bands and stuff. Was there some competitive nature? Were there some that you're just like, you ain't skate, like, you know what I mean? Like, because I know like there was vibes and shit always. So like there had to have been like, nah, that band's cut, or these guys are cool, or was it more like the mag was dictating that?
Well, everybody had their own opinions. You know, like I say, back when it was first coming out, anyone who skated or was punk was like, you're good, man. You know, like, hell yeah, bro. Like, hell, let's play. Let's go drink beers, whatever. You know, at a point, you know, I think we were the first band to have our own boards. And then everybody, a year or so later, all these other bands have boards, and a lot of them don't even skate. And
Right.
so that's where I started to get rankled, you know, and still to this day, you know, the Misfits, they don't fucking skate. Why are they, you know, come on, man. You can look their music, but
Yeah.
you're taking money away from a pro skater if you could have bought a pro board, you know, or at least a band that skates, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I actually kind of got in trouble for, I wrote a letter to Thrasher. It was in, I think it was in Trash. I challenged all the bands, the so-called skate bands, to a contest.
No way.
Except for the Faction, because they had cab, and that's not
Cab.
fair.
Yeah.
But you know, everybody else, I mean, I'm like, you know, I don't want to call, because I pissed some guys off on that, you know, so which you know, now we're cool, so I don't want to fuck with it too much.
Okay. Right. All
But
right.
look it up, man. So that's, you know, nowadays I'm pretty much cool with all those guys. Still not cool with the Misfits. First time we played San Francisco, we played the Fillmore, and we played with the Misfits, the Meat Puppets, and the Lewd, who was local from San Francisco.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we might have been on first. That was one of our early shows, and the Meat Puppets back then were just totally weird. Like, you know, fuck you. We're gonna play weird ass shit, you know. And the punkers all, you know, what the fuck. And
They're
then
from Arizona too, right?
Oh yeah, they're our bros, man. We played. Those, they are the best, man. If you see them coming to your town, go see them, because they're killer. Then it's a Misfits turn, and they take like an hour and a half to come on stage, and like the crowd, putting on all their makeup, and it's locked. They can't even go in there backstage or whatever. And it's like that total not punk, and everyone's all, come on, what the fuck, you know? Everyone's getting kind of angsty. And they finally come on, and Don says they looked and sounded like Shitty Kiss. so the bass player's got like you know, like 12 basses, all with a skull on the friggin' headstock, and he starts just breaking them. Like, he'll play a song, break a bass, play a song, break. And it was all like, come on, really? Fuck you guys. What the? You got the fucking act. You got, you know, because it was a rough crowd, let's just say that. So then the drummer gets pissed off, and he friggin' jumps over this, knocks his drums down, jumps into the friggin' crowd, gets, you know, fight, and he got his ass fucking whooped, bro. He comes back limping up on stage like a shadow of his former self, you know, you know, kind of dragging a leg behind him, you know what I mean? I'm talking to this guy I just met, this kid, and we're sitting on the edge of the stage, band's playing behind us, looking out, and the fucking bass player comes up and sinks his bass into this kid's skull right next to me that I'm talking to. Like, I saw it go in about this deep, and the kid's all, you know, and that was it. That was it. We were gonna kill the fucking Misfits. Like, the whole entire crowd right there. That just opened the friggin', like, you know, everyone fucking, they run up into their backstage, and, you know, they clear it, you know, kick everybody out. And we were just patrolling the edge, waiting for him to come, you know, like, what door? All right, you got that door over there, you know, like 300 or 400 punkers, man.
That was in SF?
Yeah. But yeah, the cops came and eventually dispersed us. And that kid's got to take lithium for the rest of his life now. Like, he wasn't dead, but it's like, so anyway, that's my Misfit. So that's the only band that has a skateboard. You know, nowadays I'm like, whatever, dudes. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, there's, you know, Britney Spears probably has a skateboard, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I know.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's gnarly though.
Dude, it was, you know, like luckily for the Misfits, everyone was in shock for a minute or two. You know, it took everyone time, gave them time to get the fuck out of there, man. So yeah, so that's the only band we kind of got still, you know, have some beef with, you know. And hey, if anyone else, if they like them or whatever, that's fine, you know, because you probably don't know the story or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like you can't, like I can't be, yeah, the Misfits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
Damn, that's gnarly. Can you give me 1 second? Take a quick piss break?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back.
John Guapo! Where's my son? Where's my son? Where's Guapo? Hey! Where is my son? Tomato! Where's the spice? Get those chilies coming! Hot! Hot! Hotter! Don't be spilling it! Stuff like this gold! We got the new sauce! Pop rock! Yeah! New kick! New flavor! Mod sauce! Is here! Step up to the plate and lose.
And now, another first impression with Timothy Donald McKenney.
Jodie Foster's Army, aka J.F.A. And you got Brannon on the show. Wow. My first impressions has to be in the era of the Damage video, where both me and the legend Phil Shaw used their music in our parts. And my first impressions too, coming back into the game, was looking up, typing up my name just to see if I could find some footy in J.F.A's songs to the parts coming up as you Google it. So that's forever a part of history. In my history is using that music for my skateboard part. And it will go down as a classic time in my life. And I thank you, J.F.A, for making that a classic part of my life. Shout out, Brannon, you're the shit.
Hey, it's Corey at Blue Plate, 3218 Mission Street. Come see us. Meatloaf, fried chicken, deviled eggs, Dollar Olympia beers. We're here every day of the week. We got a garden and we got smiles on our faces. Come let us make you happy.
What's your guys' writing formula for songs? Do you like the music comes first and then the lyrics, or how does it work?
Oh man, we're all over the place because we like, you know, it's pretty democratic. You know, Don writes a lot of songs, so he's just got a stockpile that he's busting out. But I'll write, you know, I write them, and then we got Corey Stretz on bass now and Mike Tracy on drums. They've been with us forever, and they'll write some stuff too. And it's, you know, just whatever works. You know, sometimes you hear a certain word or whatever, or there's something you want to say, and sometimes you're just messing around and you got a cool little riff thing, and then it's like that's the hardest ones for me, is having the music first and then write lyrics for it, because then I'm like, oh, that's not perfect. You know what I mean? Like I just like spend forever making something that fits, where if I just get something in my head, this is what I want to say, and then I'm like blah 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 blah, and then write the music, you know. Right. So but either way works, you know. I can't tell you which one's better, if there any of them are any good, but you know.
We got the possibly the shortest song of all times. 5 seconds, I think I can count. Yeah, count. Yeah, if you don't count the 1, 2, 3, 4 at the beginning there. Yeah, and that was a thing too. Like back then, we like to say we were the fastest band in the West. But, we had like our original drummer, Bam Bam, man. He was made to play that kind of hardcore. Like he was made to play drums. Or like if you ever saw us back in the day with Bam Bam, and you could watch him, like holy crap, you know. And then Michael Cornelius is super talented bass player, like right in the pocket, and then like all kinds of runs, and then Don. So I mean, we had it going back then. The sad thing was he
Bam Bam got into metal, you know what I mean? And kind of just, he was a great metal drummer, but he, to me, was like, you know, Chuck Biscuits from DOA, when he was in DOA, Rat Scabies and Bam Bam, you know, like not even maybe in that order, you know, as great punk drummers.
Right.
You know, same thing happened with Chuck Biscuits. You know, when DOA, he's just like, you listen to Hardcore 81 and his drums are just so fast and tight, you know, and then he went to play with Social Distortion, which are great guys, great band, but it doesn't show off his ability.
Right.
You know, it's not like he was made to be, you know, you know what I mean? So,
right.
Anyway, there's my drummer thoughts.
Okay. Who is Johnny D? And if there was a new verse, what things would you be singing about hating in 2020?
We already got some of those songs. But yeah, Johnny D was a DJ, and there was a Phoenix radio station called K15. And they played new wave and punk, but they didn't really play that much punk. You know what I mean? And so we wrote a song kind of calling them out for it, of like, well, dude, where's the friggin' Black Flag? Where's the Adolescents? You know?
Right.
Was the thing. And forever, Johnny D hated us. Like, of course, they never played any J.F.A. up till that point, and they damn sure never were going to play any J.F.A. after that, you know? And I think he wanted to fight us and all this stuff. And then we fast forward like 20 or 30 years, and somehow we got in contact, and he's all, you know what, bro, I wanted to fucking fight you for the longest time. But then I realized you helped make me famous. You know, your song brought my name out to all these other dudes.
Oh my God.
You know, and so then we had a tribute album. It's called All In, and it's all these bands doing our songs, right? And there's some pretty good ones on good covers. Like, I like the ones where they don't play it like we do. You know, they take it a different way. And so Johnny D actually had a band called Johnny D and the Moose Sticks, right? And they had a song back there called I Hate J.F.A. Right? So I called up Johnny D. I'm all, hey, Johnny, you got to do I Hate J.F.A. on this freaking compilation, bro.
I hate J.F.A. They're such fucking geeks, playing that two-chord shit, trying for a punk band hit. You're so lame, Phoenix is game. You suck, your life's in a rut. Go on and die. You're why I know. You're just four fucked weirdos on skateboards.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one, man. It's pretty funny.
Huh.
But as far as what we hate in 2020, I mean, same shit that we always hated. You know, fakeness. We got a song called Intolerance. You know, which is just, you know, hating people because they're different. You know, which is pretty widespread right now. You know, the whole Black Lives Matter movement kind of speaks volumes to that.
Yeah,
that stuff's been going on. You know, we don't go into politics too much. We just never wanted to be like a crass type of band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, kind of our opinion has always been like, hey, do whatever you want, but don't be a jerk. You know, don't be a fucking idiot or dickwad to people. And there's a lot of those going on right now too. You know what I mean? And yeah, so that's pretty much that's nothing's really changed. The stuff we hate.
We spoke a little bit about it before, but mask or no mask?
I'm masked, bro. You look on my Instagram, I don't know if you saw it, but Don's all, hey, you should get a picture of Reagan and put a mask on him and put join Fauci's army, J.F.A. I'm all, let me call up Rob from AZPX, and he did it, and it's killer.
No way.
And I'm all, hey, should we do a shirt? And I'm all, no, I just wanted to give it to my friend or whatever. And Rob's all, hey, let's do a shirt. I'm all, hey, if you want to do a shirt, let's do a shirt. So we did some shirts. It's Reagan wearing a mask, J.F.A., join Fauci's army. And it's got more likes than any of my other Instagram freaking posts ever.
Fucking key.
But yeah, I know, like, and there was like probably 99% of the comments are people liking it. But there's like, I think 2 guys that kind of, you know, oh, mask is a conspiracy, or it's like some He said, this wasn't even on my one. It was on Rob's, but it's like, it's some bullshit agenda. And I'm like, dude, you know what a bullshit agenda is? Is saying that, downplaying the use of masks for an airborne virus while more than 145,000 Americans died. That's a friggin' bullshit agenda.
Yeah, and the thing that is puzzling me on a lot of this stuff is why everybody has to politicize everything. Like, why can't there just be a right and wrong? Why does it have to be right and left?
Why does it have to be like Dems and Republicans? And I'll tell you why.
Yeah, it's like, if I'm a Republican, no mask. If I'm a Democrat, mask. It's like, no. If you're a smart human, mask. That's
right.
it.
Well, I'll give you a friggin' conspiracy theory. Is all roads lead to Putin. Who benefits from our country where we once respected each other because we're all Americans, no matter Democrat or Republican? Hey, you're an American. You're entitled to your opinion. I'll support it. That's what free speech is all about. You can think what you want. We may argue, but at the end of the day, you're still an American. You're my neighbor. Cool. That's not how it is right now. I've got a song called, this is one of those songs that I'm still, just agonizing over the lyrics, and it's called The Divided States of America, right? And that's what we are. We can't get we can't get shit done because we all hate each other based on whether you're red or blue or whatever. And who benefits from that? Our adversaries, our enemies, Russia, China, Iraq, because we can't even decide if we like masks in the middle of a freaking pandemic. Meanwhile, we have more people dying of the pandemic than any other country. Who does that benefit? Our adversaries, you know what I mean? And it's all this thing where, people can come in and throw these crazy conspiracy theories out and people believe them. Like, oh, well, I hate Democrats, so it must be true. You know what I mean? Or like, I heard one the other day that there's 2 million sex slaves underneath the Getty Museum in Los Angeles being kept there by the Democrats. Okay, who shot Kennedy? All right, maybe that's, but stuff that just is made to turn us against each other is the worst thing ever. And that division is not the way to go, bro. So that, I hate that too.
Yeah, and I've been doing because I can only listen to things now. Like, I don't have a lot of options. So I'm either walking and listening to the news or a podcast or Howard Stern or whatever. So I'm getting a lot of data in my brain. And one of the things that keeps coming up is like the conspiracy theory is obviously popular because we have been lied to in the past. So people don't want to believe everything, which I totally get. The whole sheep mentality, you don't want to be a sheep and just follow. But there's a difference between that and being educated with your opinions and figuring out, like, if there's even a 5% chance of me killing my grandma, I'm wearing a mask so she doesn't die. Like, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with politics. It's just like, I want people to live. Dude. So I don't,
No, I'm with you, man. And it's a lot because, it's selfish too, to not wear a mask is selfish because you're not, if everyone else is wearing a mask, but you're the only one that's not, you're safe. But you could be infecting everybody else because your stuff can still be breathed in through the mask.
Right.
So that's even like more selfish, it's like, ugh.
Well, the whole thing seems, we definitely are a self-absorbed. That's what Instagram has made us me. That's it. Speaking of Instagram, I do have one question from I put out. I was interviewing you, and this guy had one. I don't know if this makes sense to you, but his name's Crowbar Anonymous, and he says, "Do you still have a grudge with Gigi Allen?"
I never had a grudge with Gigi Allen, but unless, take this story for what it's worth.
Okay.
I went to cover Gigi Allen when he played San Francisco one time for Thrasher. And he comes on, pulls his pants down, and starts shitting on the fucking stage, right? And like throwing turds. And you could tell right at that moment that he didn't have a very healthy diet. Just from the wateriness of his shit, right? So he's flinging poop like a fucking monkey at everybody. Everyone's like fucking standing back, right? Ducking. Oh, I got a poop story. You want? I got a poop story for you. My wife told me never to tell it, so I may not be able to tell you. But if you really want to hear it, but this, she didn't say I couldn't tell this one. So he's doing all this crazy shit, peeing, singing, whatever, and then he like puts down the mic because they're doing a instrumental part or whatever, and everybody's like, wow, right, and they just back the fuck up. And me, I've been a veteran of many a fucking punk rock pit at the Cuckoo's Nest, whatever. I'm like, fuck, nothing scares me, man. I'm right here. And he comes by and he's like doing the totally like just skipping along, da, 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 waving to everybody. And he comes right up to me and he just comes by and he just puts his friggin' finger right under my nose, just rubs his finger. I'm like, I like run in the bathroom, like the sinks are full with guys just like friggin' like lava soap, trying to get shit up there. I'm like, get the fuck out of the way, man.
Right.
So I mean, that was my only beef with him.
Somebody must have known about that one or something.
That was my only beef, that I was stupid enough to fucking stand there, which I blame that on me. So I don't have no beef with GG Allen. Rest in peace, bro.
What's like one of your most memorable, whether I saw you guys play at the Nude Bowl, I think it was with One Man Army. I forget what year. That was 90s or something, but something like that where you just like, dude, it was insane. We're at the side of the bowl or whatever.
Yeah.
Or playing with another band in Europe or something that was huge. I don't know.
Oh, see, now you're just like adding 12 more stories to the list. Yeah, the Nude Bowl stuff. We played the Paula Pool in San Diego, and that was rad. Just a killer session going on, man. And that's just like, that's our bread and butter. We love, that's just like, hey, this is what it is. This is, why we live and breathe. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff. First time we played LA, we played at the Ukrainian Culture Center with the Lewd, Bad Religion, and Bad Brains. And that was the first time the Bad Brains ever played LA. So no one knew what to expect. You know what I mean?
Shit.
So, and just, like 4 black guys come on, start playing like the fastest, most tightest punk rock music you ever, whoa. And then HR, that dude was just a maniac, man. He was just like
flips.
I could probably see him this big, you know what I mean? And he's like, dude, you know what I mean? And that was just crazy. So that was good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, when we played in Austin with the big boys, they took us to skate Pflugerville Ditch.
Ooh.
They wondered why we were waiting so long in the van. They thought it was because we were waiting to see if they skated, but we were just having a safety meeting. You know what I mean? Drinking a couple beers and stuff before. And to this day, they're all you guys were just checking us out to see if we skated. No, dude, we knew you guys skated. That wasn't the thing. I mean, we were just getting ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we skated Pflugerville Ditch, and then they took us to a friggin' Austin style barbecue, which was, they closed off the entire block and had a barbecue for us. And then we went and played at this place called Liberty Lunch, this huge theater where you'd have like ballet or something, right? And so we played, and it was cool. And then they play, and me and Bam Bam are sitting kind of up, high up, just so we can see everything. And they say, all right, everybody, we're going to do fun. Everybody come up on stage and sing along with us. And no shit, the entire crowd, like 500 people, went up on stage. And me and Bam Bam are just looking at each other going, that's pretty fucking cool, man.
Damn, that's pretty rad.
Yeah. I mean, played with Minor Threat at the 930 Club in DC. That was good. Anytime we played with TSOL, the Vandals, back when they had Steve-O, when they were good, the original Vandals, they had us, we played with them a bunch of times. They had a song called The Frog Stomp. And Steve-O knew a high school science supply warehouse. So we would go and buy a bunch of formaldehyde frogs to be,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So TSOL and the Vandals are staying at Don's apartment in downtown Phoenix, 2nd floor, right? And Steve-O comes up, and there's some ladies just laying by the pool in their bikini. He starts hucking frogs, and frog lands on a lady. He's just trying to throw him in the pool. I guess he missed. And Don almost got kicked out. And then they play live, and they start just chucking frogs at everybody, and you're stomping them. We played with them at the Dancing Waters, which had waterfalls behind in San Pedro. We did I don't know. Can you see this one right there?
Zona Rosa.
Yeah, that was a benefit we did for the Channel Street skate park, like first iteration. But that was the same place, and there's all these frogs in the friggin' thing. We played. I could talk about the Vandals all day, man, because they were cool. We played with Suicidal. I think it was their first show they ever played was in Watts at this place.
Wow.
And I think I have a flyer where I think they're in pretty small print because no one knew who they were. They look J.F.A. Suicidal. I said, hey, I didn't make the flyer, guys. Mike, love you guys, but I love those guys, but no, it was like that was the first show I think they played. They might have played some others, but it was pretty early in their career. They got huge real quick. But me and Steve-O from the Vandals go into this liquor store, and we're all looking. I'm all, hey, let's get this cold grape malt duck. Sounds good, man. So, all right, and then these friggin' gangbangers come in there. Oh, you can't buy that, man. That's our gang's fucking beer, bro. I'm all right, no problem. Hey, no, we're cool. And the friggin' owner comes in. Hey, you want that beer? You buy that beer. You buy. I want you to buy. No, I don't want to buy it no more, man. No, you must buy it. Here, I'll give it to you. So, all right. So we walk out, and we're, where are we going to drink this beer? And there's a storm drain right outside, with a manhole cover, there's curb, and then the water goes in, right? So we lift up the manhole cover, and me and Steve-O are under the manhole cover, just like looking out through this, the storm drain, drinking beer, right? And like you see like chicks and, the punk chicks in their high heel boots or whatever walking by, finish off the 6-pack. All right, time to go. We get up, and like I'm first one out there, and I'm open up the manhole cover, and I'm holding. I just got my middle finger through the little hole. I'm like holding it while Steve-O's coming up the ladder, and it starts to go. The fucking manhole cover, dude, crashed and fell on his head. Like I dropped the manhole cover. Like I mean, heavy, right?
Yeah.
And he just comes up. Hey, you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. Okay, all right, let's go. So then we play, and afterwards, Steve-O, this like you would never not pay Steve-O. If the Vandals play, don't try and like get out of paying the band, because I wasn't at this one, but one time he went and he pulled a friggin' grenade, pulled the pin on a grenade. Everybody out, just me and him.
Damn.
But this might even been the same show. I don't know. But then afterwards, a bunch of the bums and the guys who worked at the club had a fire going outside, and Steve-O threw some magnesium in it. And if you know anything about magnesium, is it doesn't need oxygen to burn. It's a very flammable metal. You get it hot enough, and it's just going to burn. There's really nothing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like. And the dudes are like trying to pour beer on it to get it up. But yeah, man, that was Steve-O. He was like, he was the man. So yeah.
Man,
any show with the Vandals. How's that?
Okay. Man, I would have died to have been at that Bad Brains one though. First ever.
Oh, dude. Oh yeah. So I mean, I think I was 14 at that one.
Oh wow.
And that was when the LA punk riots were going on, and the cops just hated the punks. Right, it was on Melrose Street. So we got done playing. I decided to take a walk out front, and I just look for both ways. As far as I can see is nothing but cop cars with their lights on, right? There's like just blinking red lights and all this stuff, and I'm smoking a clove. I'm all, and I'm walking down the street, and cops just billy clubbing freaking punker. I'm like, oh, wow. This is LA. This is the LA punk scene, man. All of a sudden a cop comes up, what do you got in your hand, boy? What are you smoking there? I'm on, that's a clove cigarette, sir. Clove cigarette. Better put that out right now, or I'll shove it up your ass. So then I dropped it on, and scrunched it with and I'm like, fuck him. Is he going to beat my ass for littering? You know what I mean? So went back in and ran into Dennis Donnell, the original guitar player, lead for Social Distortion, who friggin' love. And I just start talking with him. He's going, he takes a beer and he just drinks it. I think it was a Miller High Life. Go, 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 go. And he goes, and breaks on the floor. I'm all, that was the coolest thing I ever saw in my life. So that was a pretty good show, man.
Sick, man. That's dude. I'm sure you have a bazillion show stories, but we got to talk a little bit or a lot of it, because this part is really interesting to me. Is you get the job at the mag. Do they give you a call and you've already been kind of contributing, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to move out here and be full on," or how does that work out?
I mean, that's exactly how that worked out. KT called me. We were at band practice. It was kind of hard because I was still living in Arizona, but Don had moved out to Cali, and we were just still making it work. So we were up in Chino practicing, and anyway, so somehow KT got the number, called me up, and hey, you want to come work for the mag? I'm all, wow, I don't know, right? Because we had the pool scene on lock in Phoenix. Like, there wasn't shit that went down, pool, pipe, ditch, or whatever that me and my bros didn't know about. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that was my thought. My first thought was, man, what about all my bros? Because some of them were sketchy guys. Like great skaters, but sketchy dudes. And I tried to keep them kind of on track from imploding. You know what I mean? Like, oh crap, what about all the guys? And then I'm like, well, hey, offer to work at Thrasher, bro. I mean, he only comes once, right? You got to go do it. So, so I moved out there. Miles Orkin had been the staff writer, and he was in MCM and the Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, Ruben's brother.
Yeah. Both killer dudes. And so he went to school or something, I think. And so I went there. I was a staff writer for a while, and they gave me the Notes from the Underground column. And back then, skaters were the trendsetters on all things. Like, what kind of shoes you're wearing, whatever's cool. It would start with the skaters, and it would eventually, go to the East Coast, or if it was East Coast, it would come to the West Coast, and eventually get to Iowa. You know what I mean? And then that was like 3 or 4 years later. And definitely music was one of those things with Thrasher, because Thrasher was getting pretty big by then. And so they let me start writing the Notes from the Underground column, and I could call anybody, anywhere, any record company, and ask for an interview with the band, and they were like, yeah, no problem. Oh, so, I did I started doing themes in Notes from the Underground, obviously I did a skate rock one, and then surf music. I did grunge, right? And for grunge, I had called Nirvana, Soundgarden, I think Stone Temple Pilots, Mudhoney, and 3 or 4 other bands. And the thing is that I only had that one column.
Yeah.
So all these freaking music people are like, yeah, I can't wait to see Nirvana. They're just starting out, but they're gonna be huge. You get them in track, and I give them 2 or 3 sentences. It's the best 2 or 3 sentences of the whole thing. You know what I mean? And then there's this other band called Soundgarden just starting out, you know what I mean? And so, that shit was really started taking off. And then, Mofo says, hey, you want to be the music editor? I'm like, yeah. So, that continued for a while. And the same thing, calling up the Damned, the Cramps, Metallica, Carlos Santana, interviewed him at his house.
Fuck, sick.
Yeah, well, it was his guest house.
Where, Santa Cruz or where?
No, San Mateo, just over the bridge.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, just over the bridge too. And he was all proud. He's all, I haven't smoked weed in 2 weeks. Come on. All right, congratulations, man! That's a stunning achievement, bro.
Yeah.
But I can't even remember all the bands, But they never gave me enough room. Even when Jake, when he was, I interviewed, they gave me a lot of room for Jello when I interviewed him. But like, you know, even when we were doing features, it was like you get half a page for the Damned, you know, half a page for whatever. So
was there a music section already when you started working there, or was it just the Notes from the Underground? Like, was there band interviews already? Because right now I think we got like 6 or 8 pages allocated for bands.
Yeah, no, I think it was starting to be more regular, you know. Yeah, I think there were.
But maybe it depended on the caliber. Like you got Jello, they're gonna give you some more. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I interviewed Tom Waits, and that was great.
Oh,
but yeah,
that's a sick one.
That was like a 5-hour interview too. And then Jake would only give me
smoky voice.
Yeah, he would only give me 1 page for it too, because he didn't like Tom Waits. He wasn't gonna let me put him on the cover, like just at the top, you know, the name. But and I left all the tapes there when I left too. Like there's some gold on all those interview tapes. If you can find them, send them to me, man.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
But yeah, me and Tom hit it off really well because they had sent me his entire CD collection. Right, so I listened to all, because I'm a big Tom Waits fan. And when he first started out, he did stuff like with orchestra. You know what I mean? And like, that's not the Tom, you know. So I want to first question him, hey, so your new album is like this, you know, The Earth Died Screaming. How did you get there from, you know, your orchestra roots with this stuff? And like that, like just opened it up where like, this guy knows who I am and he's fucking talking to me. He's not just like, you know, oh, you did that one movie. Yeah. You know, so we talked like literally like 5 cassettes worth of shit.
Damn.
And then he's all, okay, hey, I gotta go. I'm like, hey man, no problem. Thank you so much. And love to come out, see you sometime. Like, yeah, okay. Hang up. 5 minutes later, Brian, yeah, Tom Waits on the phone for you. I'm like, all right, I'll take it, yeah. And he goes, hey, yeah, Brian, there's one more story I forgot to tell you. It was my skateboard story, and I just want to tell it here in Thrasher Magazine. He's all, when we were little kids, we used to have this beautiful hill that we lived on, and we used to skateboard down it all the time. And right there at the bottom, in the beauty of the curve, Brian, there was this man who lived there. His name was Mr. Stitches. And Mr. Stitches hated all the skateboarders. He hated us with a passion. And every time he would come out, he would yell at us and, you know, shake his fist. You skateboarders, you hoodlums, I hate you. I'm going to call the cops.
Yeah.
And Tom's all. And so, you know what? We started messing with Mr. Stitches. We would do pranks and stuff, you know, to him and cause trouble. And then one day, Mr. Stitches had a heart attack and died. And all the people in the neighborhood said we killed him, that the skateboarders killed him because we gave him high blood pressure with being mean to him. And I just want to say right now, in Thrasher Magazine, I didn't kill Mr. Stitches.
There's your full quote.
He has a router and a table saw. And you won't believe what Mr. Stitches saw.
Like, all right. That's going in. I don't know how I'm going to fit the rest of the shit, but that's going in.
That's insane. Do you remember meeting Fausto for the first time? Like, you have a first impression of those guys?
Oh, you know, I think I was probably at a contest, like an indoor, like Phoenix thing. It might even been like a basketball court type of scenario. You know, he was just cool. Hey, Brian, J.F.A, yeah, I'm Fausto. Oh, hey, man, what's going on? You know, yeah, so super cool. Just, you know.
It's so sick to see all the old events. He was always there. Like, he was such a part of these things. Like, whatever, Midwest Melee, fucking Del Mar, whatever. You always seen him somewhere. He was there, and it was like so sick. Like, know.
You know, he made sure everything was friggin' pure. Like he would like call out, no, we're not doing that. You know, that's lame. We can't do that. Hell no.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, he was cool, man. He kept everything good.
And what would you say about KT? Like, he was probably the last few years of his time there in the beginning. So I got to know him a little bit, but obviously huge part of the mag.
Oh yeah. KT, you know, he had a big vision for the mag, and he, you know, he was core to the end of it. You know, I stayed with him. So when I first moved there, I stayed at his house for about 6 months, and then I moved in with Jim Muir from Dogtown for about a year. But no, KT, you know, he was just a bro through and through. You know, I mean, if you look at pictures of him back at like Uvis Dam and stuff, you know, he's just shredder all the way. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Sick. And then Mofo.
Yeah, I mean Mofo. So him and KT sometimes had some issues with each other, you know, because they're both very strong, opinionated people. KT was the decider. So Mofo would come up with these crazy, like not crazy, but just like a huge idea. Like we're gonna do, you know, we're gonna interview TSOL, and we're gonna, you know, bring all these chicks, and then we're gonna set this thing on fire, and then, you know, and when KT would shoot him down, you know what I mean? But I mean, Mo was definitely like the heart. You know, I would say maybe KT was a heart, and you know, Mofo was the soul of Thrasher in the early days, and like Fausto was kind of like the brains of it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. I mean, I remember, Mofo. Everything he did was so cool. Like everything he wrote was just like dripping with style or cool. Yeah. You know, he had I remember he had a cartoon called The Wild Riders of Boards. It's in some of the early bigger mags, and that's just so cool, man. I wish he would have done more of those. He started doing some too about the big boys after that, which were cool.
Okay. That was the name of one of the skate rock albums, I think. Wild Riders on Board.
Yeah,
sick.
Yeah, so
what was the atmosphere at the plant back then? Like, was it loose? Like, is there drinking and smoking and a bunch of stuff going on in there, or is it kind of in the place?
Oh yeah. You should have seen when Cypress Hill came through.
Oh shit. Wow. How sick. Like all that shit, you guys, like Beastie Boys, Guns N' Roses, like early on, those dudes were a part of the mag. It's like insane.
Yeah, that was the thing, man, because it was Thrasher was the voice, you know. I mean, there was no one else who even wanted to be the voice at that point, you know what I mean? Because, you know, you heard about Action Now, like Skateboarder Magazine became this like action sports magazine, and it just lost all the cred, and Thrasher was just core all the way through, you know, and for those of us who that was our life, that was where we went, you know. So
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
And then did you watch Jake transition? Was he in shipping when you first got there, or was he already editor?
Yeah, so he was in shipping with Rick Rotzart and Stacy Gibo.
Right, and maybe Sarge, right?
Yeah, Sarge. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. Danny Sargent. Hell yeah.
And so
you used to skate the Safeway curves with that crew.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
That's where I learned to do slappies.
At Safeway?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. There's that photo of Danny front board. That's so good.
Dude, he was so picture doesn't capture how fast he would go or like how gnarly, you know, he was. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Did you guys skate across the street at that ramp? Was there like sessions and stuff? And were you around for Studio 43?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I remember when he also had a ramp in Oakland. I was telling somebody about this the other day. At Oakland, he had a session, and everybody had the front side roll in to this big out ass vert ramp, and I never front side. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck. All right. So I did it. You know, everybody else did it, and then they had this thing. Like I think that day, me and Jake weren't on the best terms, you know. And then he had everybody drop in at the same time on one wall. And the thing was to see who could friggin' be the last one riding, right? So it was me. He said go. I was like the first one down there, so I was in front of everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they're just like all pile driving into each other, like, you know. And then Jake's trying to knock me off or whatever, but yeah. And then at Studio 43, I remember that the rule of that one was you got to do a rock to fakie. And like I'm like, on a big old ass vert ramp, I'm like, I never done a rock to fakie, you know, honestly. So I had to do that. I remember one time, Studio 43, I had tickets to Spinal Tap and then Swerve Driver, which was my favorite band at that time. Was my absolute favorite band. I had sent them a Thrasher shirt, and they were wearing it when they came through. And then there's a session at Studio 43 Friday night, right? So session, Spinal Tap, and then Swerve Driver clear out the night. All right. So, Studio 43 had like, it was like about 36 or 40 foot wide, maybe like 10, 12 feet tall, 16 foot of flat bottom. And then it had a part that was about just 16 feet wide that was about 2 feet lower, so 8 or 10 feet tall, and like 12 foot of flat, right? So what I would do, I'm not a guy who's got what you call board control like that. I'm of the school where you throw it up there and just see what happens and try and pull it back in, you know what I mean? So I'm like getting all this speed coming down the big, long, deep part. And then, the ramp was built so there was like wall-to-wall ramp, right? So I get all the speed on the big one, and I come up and I do a front side grab the nose grind, which again, I just do it and see what happens. Put it up there. Sometimes it's in, lean to tail. Sometimes it's a tail slide. Sometimes it's a rollout grind. Who knows? I'm just going as fast as I can. So I go up and do that, and I come down and I miss the tail slide. I miss the coping with my tail, right? And I'm like just sliding down, and there's the wall getting closer and closer. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm crushing wall. Boom. Put my hand up, and, my finger right here, it just friggin', goes, and I'm like looking at it. I'm like, I'm never going to play piano again. You know what I mean? So they take me to friggin', I drive to San Francisco General on a Friday night, shit. And there's like gunshot victims walking in, stab wounds, hey, I got dislocated my finger. Someone help me. And they, lay down on that thing over there. You're next, 2 hours later. And this guy comes in and his head is just like, I don't know, somehow he got shot in the head or hit with a baseball bat. He's lying down next to me and he's like sitting there for 5 minutes going, what the fuck? Where are they going to come? Fuck it. I'm out of here. They're all, hey, did you see where the guy with the bloody head went? I'm like, yeah, he left. He went out the front door. So then they like give me some friggin' bunch of drugs and like friggin' just go whoop, like put my thing back. Okay, you can go, just don't drive. I'm all, well, I got tickets to Soundgarden and Swerve Driver, and I got my car. So Spinal Tap. And Spinal Tap was early show, missed it. Drove to Swerve Driver, best show I ever saw, man. Couldn't kill it. So, but yeah.
What happened at the mag? Like, why did you stop working there?
Me and Jake just had a big falling out. I think he got pissed. He was writing a thing, the 10 most hated skate guys and pros in skateboarding.
Yeah, the Billy Pepper.
Yeah. So you want to hear that story?
Yeah, were you there?
Yeah, so I was there for the whole thing. I was next to
Yeah, I got to hear this one.
All right, so he's writing this thing, and I think Bryce knocked him out. Sorry, Bryce. And because Bryce liked Billy Pepper, so he called Billy Pepper and said, hey, Jake's writing a thing about you. And you're a pro skater, and to have someone say you're the most hated, one of the 10 most hated guys in skateboarding, not so good for your career in Thrasher, right?
Yeah.
Like Ken Park, crap neck, spelled backwards, I think Jasmine was working the phones, and so a phone rings, Jake, Billy Pepper on the line wants to talk to you. So, yeah, what do you want? Man, yeah, fuck you. Come here if you don't like it. Click. And friggin' Billy lived in Santa Rosa or some shit, so it's like, hour and a half drive or whatever. 45 minutes later, phone rings. Jake, yes, Billy Pepper is here to see you. Okay, it's in the back. Hangs up, and that long hallway?
Yeah.
And so Jake's on one end of it, and then Billy Pepper's on the other, and Jake's all, what do you got, man? What do you got, Billy? What? Billy Pepper's all, he's like a cartoon, like here, look at my feet. He's like this. Hold on, I don't know if I can do it. It's not going to work. He's like this. Like he's not even running. He's like starting up, And he's like, finally, like he takes off like a bat out of the hell, jumps on top of Jake. boom, 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 like hits his glasses. His glasses just go right into like right there, blood everywhere. Boom, 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 boom. Ed's in there reading Lowrider magazine. Like, here's some commotion. Just a normal day at Thrasher, you know.
Did Ed come out and try to get in there? I heard something about Ed coming out and doing something.
Yeah, so someone goes and tells Ed, hey, someone's beating the shit out of Jake right out here. You guys should come out. And so Ed comes up, breaks it up, said, bring Stacy Gibo in here, you know, and because Stacy's a big guy, you know, and so they bring him. They put Billy in the advertising office, so it's like just a closed room, and lock him up. And now Jake's all, you're never gonna work in skateboarding again, Billy. I'm gonna make sure that you're ruined for this, man. You want to fight? You know, like Jake, you know, Billy's behind the window going, fuck you, come on.
Holy shit.
And there's like this little window thing that opens up about this wide where the fax machine was, where you could reach in without having to, you know, come all the way around.
Yeah.
Jake's all like, oh, you fucking, I would kick your ass, man. Fuck you. And next thing you know, Billy squeezes through this window, comes around the corner, jumps on Jake, boom, 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 boom. You know? And Billy's like 3 foot nothing or whatever.
Yeah.
Just kicking his ass. And then Stacy finally comes up and just grabs Billy and like, come on, get on. You know, like, they're taking him downstairs, and you know, they getting ready to, you know, call the cops or whatever. And then Stacy's holding him, and Jake comes up like he's gonna like punch him while you know, someone's holding him behind his back. I'm all, dude. That's when I stepped in. I'm all, dude, can't do that, bro. If you want to fight him, but that's not cool if someone's holding him. You know, you gotta show that. And Stacy's all, yeah. And then Billy's all, boom, like takes off, runs out the window, leaves a fucking shoe. Like he's running so fast, like he leaves a shoe behind. And I think Jake always were like pissed that I didn't have his back. But I mean, dude, I didn't have no dogs in that fight, and I didn't, you know. So I think that was kind of what did it.
Oh, and then so that sparked you guys not getting along, and then you were just, I'm out of here.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it just went downhill from there. But I mean, you know, I got a lot of respect for Jake, though, bro. I mean, he's, you know, he was made to be there. Like his whole, the way his brain worked and everything, he was the perfect guy. That's why they brought him up to be the editor, because, you know, the street skating was coming up, and like, you know, KT didn't know what a kick flip, the difference in a kick flip and a heel flip or a friggin' 360 flip or whatever. I didn't know, you know, and that was that was the one downfall, was I was like a punk rock skater come to work at Thrasher just as hip hop and street skating are coming up, you know what I mean? So I'm like, you know, I don't do, you know, so, but Jake could like name off whatever, like he would say, yeah, March 1984, page 62, Tommy Guerrero.
It's insane. He's always had that, huh?
Yeah, so, you know, and I look at the stuff he came up with, man, you know, so, you know, I don't hold any grudge.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of, we buried the hatchet. There was a time when every time I was at a contest and I saw some dude with glasses, you know, and hair like Jake's from behind, like my blood would start boiling, and I'd be like, oh. You know what I mean? And then the guy would turn around and, no, it's not Jake. And it was like, and I had all this hate, you know what I mean? And it just, you could feel it. And so when we finally, like, you know, made up or whatever, buried the hatchet, I was like, that's cool, man. I just felt all that shit go out, you know, because, you know, he was who he was, and he was, you know, he's good at what he did, bro. And I mean, his heart was in the right place. Could he rub people the wrong way? Yeah. Could he carry a grudge? Yeah. Did he stink a lot of times? Yeah. You know, but hey, whatever, man. I mean, he, you know, skateboarding is where it is today because of him, you know, to a large extent.
It's funny because, like, towards his, you know, throughout his whole time that I knew him, he would always say, watch, when I die, watch what happens. Watch what happens. Like, the people are going to come out of the woodworks. They're going to say all this shit, like, that dude that hate, you know, all that stuff. And I don't know, the last few months, especially with this COVID shit, I've just been missing him a lot. Like, he had a lot of flaws, but he had this something special that nobody else has. And, like, that was really, really big. Like, it was pretty much what drew me to working at the mag, was that attitude and that fire, and like knowing how to get the best out of you on your worst day. Like, he was great at that. So
yeah, I mean, now, you know, he was all about pushing it to the limit, you know what I mean? And that's what we should all do. You know what I mean? Been my philosophy too, is like, you know, aim for the friggin' stars. And if you hit the moon, that's still better than just friggin' staying locked at home, you know? But I mean, you know, he was his idea to do the John Cardiel cover through a flaming hoop of fire.
Hoop of fire, that was
sick.
sick.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. I mean, why not? I mean, why not friggin' why stay stuck in some little stupid bubble? You know what I mean? And yeah, he was, like I said, would I have ever rolled in front side on a friggin', you know, big ass vert ramp? No. Would I do a friggin', you know, rock the fakie? No.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not what I did. Like Tony Alva always says, he doesn't do rock and rolls. I don't do any trick where you have to stop. I'm all, that's it.
That's a good way to look at it, actually. I don't really do rock and rolls just because I look horrible doing them. So it doesn't seem like worth it. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
Okay, real quick. After that, you got into the Navy, right?
Yeah, I got in right after 9/11 because my wife had, like, her entire family lived in New York, and all the male members, they didn't know where they were. They could all been dead because they worked right there, and it was pretty rough, you know. And I just want to do something more and drive around with the flag on my car.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm all called up the Navy, and they're like, yeah, we'll take you. I'm like, okay, let's go.
How was that? Was it a good experience? No regrets? Or?
Oh yeah, man, no regrets at all. I mean, there's a lot of punk rockers in the Navy too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tough as shit though, right? Like I'm imagining it's pretty hard as like a punk skater going in there. Like all of a sudden you're disciplined.
Yeah, no, I mean, you go in there. I was older too. Okay. You know, if I would have gone in there when I was 18 or something, I would have never just too like friggin' crazy. But you know, you get older and it's like your boss tells you to do something. It's like, all right, you wear your uniform like this. Okay, you know, and I think I went far because I was like, okay, yeah, they said to do that. I'm going to do it. You know, read this book, and all right, yeah. Huh. So, you know, I went pretty far. The thing I like about the Navy is it's a meritocracy. So if you're good at something, you're gonna get promoted. Doesn't matter what color you are. Doesn't matter what kind of accent you have. You know, where you're from. If you're good at your job, you're gonna get promoted. There's absolutely none of this, you know, divisiveness crap. It doesn't matter if you like punk rock or you know, Western music or whatever. You know, so and because at the end of the day, if the ship's on fire, man, we're all gonna freaking work to put it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
we need more of that for sure.
Yeah.
Then getting old as I am, what's the best thing I can do to stay in shape? Is there any regiment you got besides skating? You get up and do some stretches, yoga, fucking push-ups, any of that shit?
That crap. No. You can. I need to do more of it, but you should do something. When I'm on, I sweat. I try to sweat every day. Do something that makes you sweat, whether it's skate, surf, workout. Just do something, man. Get that heart beating for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was doing this, you know, when the coronavirus thing first started and we're all locked in. I started doing Heidi Robinson workout on YouTube, because I got YouTube on my thing. It's just some chick, kind of cute, and she does like half-hour freaking workouts. You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, do this. You know what I mean? Like, do 12 of these, and then we're gonna do 20. You know, like, okay. And like, I put on some music and just whatever she's doing. You know, I mean, go to the gym. I don't think it really matters as long as you move. You know what I mean? Just walk. Some people say walking, but I think, you know, if you need to bring it up a little more, like, walking's not bad. You should be walking, but just do something, man. You know, but do it where you're in it. You're doing it regularly, like every day. Do something, whatever it is, you know. And it doesn't even have to be the same thing. Just make sure you do something.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. I've been like I said, when we first started getting in this COVID thing, I think I gained like 10 pounds, and I was like, dude, this isn't gonna work. Like I can't gain any more weight. Like I got to figure this out. So I'd get up early and I'd go for like some jog. Like I call them jock because I would jog and walk. But yeah, it's like you need to sweat. Sweating is key. I mean, if you're not skating, you got to do something else that makes you sweat.
Yeah, I mean, I have this thing I printed out. I haven't done it, but I got those little push-up bar in here. Here, I'll show you. Oh shit! Did I just hang up on you? You still there?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I think I fucked up my phone. But here, you can see my garage here real quick. So, all right. I don't know if you can see. So, a push-up bar.
Oh, yeah.
A pull-up bar, right?
Yep.
There's some of my boards.
Oh, damn.
I was really big into, for a while when I was at Thrasher, I was into getting, can you see that?
Yep.
So, I was into getting water skis. And that's because you can buy them at like wooden water ski for like $5 or whatever, and then you take off the take off the surfboards, the boots, and then put some small indies. I got Indy 88s, and I would skate downhill in Frisco with some soft wheels, and you can keep the truck super loose because the wheelbase is so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you can see this one.
Whoa.
So keep it super loose. Here's my keyboard. See my keyboard?
Yep.
Yeah. You got trucks and wheels. But, you can just totally turn quick because the trucks are loose. But if you get a speed wobble on a long board like that, you're just like, it's like kind of like slalom, you know what I mean? So I was doing that for a while. But yeah, what I was going to say is like, there's like I got this, here's some of my Navy stuff. This is from Afghanistan. This dude made that for me.
Sick.
Yeah. But, so when I worked for the firm with, Lance Mountain.
Yep.
Yeah. Lance Mountain called me and he's all, I see you're applying for a job. I'm all, yeah. He's all, well, can you, I think you're too old, but if you can kind of come in and, you can get these guys to show up at a demo tomorrow in Fontucky, Chino, then you're cool. It's like, Rodrigo TX and, Javier. And, so it's raining. I got to go. I'm bringing the friggin' gate. They won't let me in. Jump over, use my full skating skills, jump over the fence and knock on the door, friggin' cloud of smoke, and Rodrigo's in there and Javier. And, anyway, got him to the friggin', to the demo the next day. Blew Lance's mind like, oh, shit. I thought there was no way. I thought that was a good way to, like, not have to hire you. So,
That's amazing.
I worked for the firm for a while, and then which was also Blitz distribution. So it was Birdhouse, Fiore, Flip, and Baker. So I was doing all that stuff. And I did, I did have to ride Furies for a while. So my Indy, sorry, Indy, but that was just for a little bit. But they're actually pretty good. They don't make them anymore. They got the ball pivot. You know about that?
Yeah, I saw them. I never tried them.
Yeah, I mean, it turns pretty good. It's like, it's a round pivot instead of where it's got to be machined into a globe instead of just a V.
Yeah.
Which actually makes it turn pretty good. But the thing is, you're talking about street skaters who just ride their truck so friggin' tight.
Yeah.
Why are you going to charge so much? But anyway, that was good too. But no, I got, anyway, so the workout. I got this little thing where you're supposed to do like 10 push-ups, some sit-ups, a plank, and some pull-ups. And I'm going to someday start doing that. I haven't started yet, but I'm sweating other ways.
Yeah.
Because you got to find something, man.
I can't do pull-ups. I don't know why. It's so fucking hard. I just do push-ups, and planking's pretty good because you could do planking for each commercial break.
Yeah. Do it while you're freaking watching.
Yeah.
But, like I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a Marine, and I'm all, do you do them like this with your hands toward you, or do you do them like this? He's all, well, you can do them either way, but I do them like this.
That's hard.
When are you ever going to climb a wall going like this, But True. If you think about, like, jump on a wall, like my theory was, when I was little, and I'm still pretty sure it worked. If I can reach the wall with my hands, I can get over it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's where pull-ups come in for your skateboarding skills.
Yeah.
Like getting over the fence.
The curl way I can do a few, but the regular, the normal way is hard.
I think even in the Marines, you only have to do 3 or 5 to get in. They're pretty tough. So.
Oh, okay.
Don't feel too bad.
All right. Last thing is we always have a song to end it, and then what can we do to stay positive through this fucking hellacious year?
So song first. What you asking me a song to end it?
Yeah, we can play whatever song you. I always ask the guests, like, what song do you want to hear as we fucking take it out of here?
Oh man, there's so much. I'll just say the first one that comes to mind. This was the first song that I had playing when I skated a contest, and it was at this ramp in Phoenix that we wrote a song called the Ramp Song about the guy's dad coming to kick our ass because we were skating and he didn't like us. But this was Don's idea. So Melody Lee by The Damned, right? It's got the piano part, right? The piano. So you got the piano and the organ, you know. But you know, it's all dun-dun-dun-dun. He's all, here's what you do, Brian. Get up there, get on the deck, set your board on, you know, because I was an axle dropper, you know, and just stand there while the piano part goes through. And that's what I did. And they go, come on, the song's playing, get up there. And then when the band goes, dun, you know, and the band comes in, then you drop in and do your runs.
Yes.
So that's what I did. So yeah, so that's what I would say on the song. Just imagine that. Somebody else used it in their contest run. And can I just put in a plug for the Bobobba special here?
Of course.
All right. So the Bobobba special is my trick. All right. So I got 2 tricks that I claim in inventing. One is a Bobobba special, which also has the Bobobba grind, and also the half Bobobba that I came up with the other day. So what you do is you're going up a wall, go kind of front side up it, kind of like a alley-oop type of thing, like a set slide, and you go up, put your front hand on the wall, going front side. Oh, not that. All right, going. So you're like this, right? So you go up, and then you kick the board up, like around. So you kind of plant your front foot and slide the board backwards, right? And the goal is, like, you know, you can start low and you just slide it a little and then fakie back down. Slide it a little more, a little higher, fakie back down. Slide it a little more. My goal originally was to just grind it, right? Front hand down, kind of alley-oop into it, grind, come back down. That's a Bobobba grind. Then I got where I could not only grind it, but kind of put it into a rock position, like a fakie rock, and then bring it down.
Oh, damn.
That's the Bobobba special. And I got a picture of Eric Costin fucking doing a Bobobba grind. I'm like, holy shit. I just want to make sure people give me credit for it because they make up some stupid ass name, you know. And then a half Bobobba is where you just go up and you slide around, but you don't come down fakie, you just come down.
Oh, okay. And why Bobobba?
That was kind of my nickname back then. I called myself. Bobobba. So it's like the Brian special. So Bobobba special. My other trick, which I'm working on, that getting footage of to make it official, because no one, well, Chris Hamrock did it, but is I call it the hood ornament fakie, the fakie hood ornament. Hood ornament being front foot, grab your back foot and stick your hand out like this, right? So you can just do that. I do that just cruising down the street, right? Like that's a standard hood ornament.
That's the hood ornament for sure.
But hold on. So what you do for the fakie hood ornament is you're coming up fakie and you do a fakie rock, right? So as you come up, just as the board rocks over, you take your back foot off and you grab it and point.
What the fuck? That's
okay.
Gnarly.
And then it just sits there. But as soon as you let go of your foot, somehow it magically goes in and never hangs up. It's not the gnarliest looking trick. but it's gnarly as a trick to do. You know what I mean? Like
what's that one? The fakie hood ornament?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fakie. You go up fakie.
Yeah.
Go up fakie. It's a fakie rock hood ornament. Go up fakie rock. Take your back foot off. Hold like that. Then you let go, and it comes in. I don't know if that one's has the potential to catch on as much as the Bobobba special, but
yeah,
we'll put it out there. We'll see. But yeah. So anyway, as far as like the division and all that shit, man, just respect everybody. You know, just respect people for, you know, who they are. I think most people are good. You know, good people, and people are different. Hey, that's okay if you try. You know, take time to find out. Talk to people. You know, and if you see someone that you don't know them and they look weird, say hi. Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
Yeah.
And I think just opening up where we talk to each other and respect each other and don't make, you know, stereotypes of people. I think that's what the world needs right now. We could all do that and just respect people. Hey, they're a person, they're a human being, they're an American, they're a San Franciscan, whatever you want to do, or they're just somebody visiting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just got to start from a place of respect rather than a place of like, he's not like me, I hate him. You know, the fuck's that gonna get us?
Yeah. So, and well, fuck, that shit is, you could go on forever. It's like fighting hate with hate. That doesn't make sense. It's just like, respect and learn.
Some of the ugliest people I know are got the biggest hearts. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
You know, that's like some of the roughest looking dudes are some of the fucking most coolest fuckers ever, you know? So
absolutely.
You can't judge a book by its cover, man.
Pete the Ox is the best forever. He's like the gnarliest skater, but the nicest fucking best heart is just like,
dude,
yeah.
You can grab Indy from anything and make it. Like, holy shit. I'll grab Indy. Oh, fuck. I love Pete. Tell Pete I said, hey, man, I hadn't seen him in a while. And tell Pierre I said, hey, too. I love him, man.
Oh, hell yeah. I barely see him, but when I do, it's so random these days. But yeah, for sure. And the guys from Shane from Hightower, he said to say what's up. He said he played with you guys at Parkside right on, and had a real good time.
Yeah, we played with them, man. They're fucking rad.
Yeah, and the thing, too, forever is, we didn't talk about it, but the Thrasher videos where the fucking chess set is like gotta be Burnside.
What's the gnarliest place you ever skated?
Gotta be Burnside.
That's your fucking claim to fame. That's your, if you're in the airport, someone's like, you're that guy.
Well, dude, I'd rather it would be the friggin' the Speed Wheels video where I roll in from the slide into the pool.
Well, I think everybody in the world should just live. Just live. That's all.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. Make it be that. But,
okay.
I'm still too old. I don't think that one's on. Yeah.
No, that one is.
I had to do it like 8 times so that they could get the right angle. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was afraid to ollie, so I early grabbed in.
Did you ever by any chance see the slam? I filmed this kid. We were skating a pool, and this kid climbed to the ladder. He rolls in and just old man's. It was so gnarly.
He landed on his back, right?
All the way to the deep, and I was like, he's dead. Like, yeah. I was like, no. Yeah.
Dwayne had a Thrasher cover rolling in off a slide and dropping, but I don't know if he made it.
Yeah.
So, but this one I made it. It was kind of I was going, the deep end's this way and the slide went this way, so it's kind of a quick wall ride into the pool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just early grabbed it, man, because I've never been big on my 215s. Don't ollie that good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're good for grinding because you can be like riding at the drain and still hit the coping. With you got 215s on, you know, No, but 215s for grinding are the best, man. I'm just.
We used to get the wide trucks on purpose just to grind the ditches that your smaller trucks wouldn't grind. But if you had the wider truck, it would get on there. You'd be like,
Yeah. No, set up a board with 215s and some big wheels sometime, man, and like you'll be like, for pools and stuff, that's where it's at. It's like riding a fucking Cadillac, man. You go super fast and just smooth, you know. So.
Sick. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much for taking the time. It's really awesome to fucking hear all your stories and catch up with you. Big love and respect for sure. Like, fuck yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. And call me, in a couple days. I'll probably think of a bunch more. Whenever. Let's do it again.
Hell yeah. Okay. Fuck yeah. Take care. And hopefully this shit will pass and we'll be able to fucking skate together or something. Or you guys will tour through or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. All of the above, bro. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
Thank
Cheers,
you,
man. Take care.
See you. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Talkin Schmit. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts. When you subscribe, you'll get notifications every Tuesday of new episodes the minute they become available. Also, please leave reviews and a 5-star rating. It's the best way to help the show grow. All of the episodes will always remain free, but if you would like to help support the show, you can do so at TalkinSchmit.com, where you can pick up some merchandise like t-shirts, beanies, hats, and stickers. The website has an entire archive of all of the episodes, with extra photos and videos. Email us with any suggestions, comments, or ways that the show may have improved your life at talkinschmit@gmail.com. All interviews are conducted, edited, and produced by Schmitty. The intro music is Mary's Cross by the band Nature. A very special shout-out goes to the executive director, Sharal Camisa.
Shout out.
Love it! This is Talkin Schmit, where the Rolodex is deep, but the conversation is deeper.